Welcome everyone to another episode of Manifestation TV. I'm your host, Agnes Kowalski, and it's such a deep honor to have the most amazing Kellie Adkins, business growth catalyst with us today. KellieAdkins.com.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
She is such an incredible human. I'm so lucky to have come across her on my entrepreneurial path. And you'll see just her beaming light of energy, like invading you with love as soon as I flip to her. So I'm going to flip to her. In our little pre-chat interview, I was getting goosebumps. So I thought I have to start pressing record because we got to share this with the audience. So I'm just going to hand it over to Kellie to just introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her entrepreneurial journey, how long it's been, so that people can be realistic about how long does this take, and how it's transformed, because it's a constant evolution. And you might be feeling that, those of you watching, that you feel like, oh, I just decided this, and now I feel like I need to do this now. And what the heck? And people already know me as this, and now I want to do this. So this is a great entry point for Kellie to talk about her journey.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Agnes, for inviting me onto Mindset TV. What a wonderful gift you're giving to the entrepreneurial community. And I just get chills at all of the work that you're doing. So thank you. It is such an honor to be here. Okay, so my entrepreneurial journey. So my current evolution right now is that I support women entrepreneurs who want to catalyze their business growth to do more of what they love more profitably. So many of my clients are heart-centered healers and helpers who have probably been doing what they do with excellence and wonder and beauty and grace for so many years, but have not seen the monetary results or the desired lifestyle. And so what I do is I help them really streamline all of the things in their business that they might be doing that is actually preventing them from growing. So I get out my sparkly sword of discernment and we cut through all of the chaff and we get right down to what actually needs to happen to fuel their growth. And so how I do that is through one-on-one mentoring. And I have several group programs and a suite of done-for-you products to support women at all levels of the startup phase. And I say startup phase, but a lot of the women I work with have been entrepreneurs for probably 10 or 15 years, but they've never been able to get out of the cycle of doing it all themselves, or staying in the overwhelm, the burnout, the feast, and the famine. And I know that. I walked that path for many years as an entrepreneur, and I just have such a heart for women that love to give. And so I say in all of my business incarnations, I nurture the nurturers. So if you feel like a nurturer in your business, and if you feel like you just love to care for people and you have a heart for your clients and a heart for service, but your business is not loving you in the way that you love your business and your clients, then I'm your girl. I'm here to nurture you and to get you on track to a profit-centric business that aligns your lifestyle and your purpose-fueled mission in the world.
Oh my gosh, that is a damn good elevator pitch. Who is not going to say yes to that? That is amazing. And I love that, because caregivers have like healers, yoga people, massage people, mindset coaches, people who are in the healing arts. Even if you don't see yourself as that, there can be a real dislike of money in general. Like almost a repelling of it. Like, this is not even something I want to have. Like, I know I need it, but I don't really want it. Does that come up a lot with your clients?
It does. And I focus quite a bit. So, a core of my teaching is that is balance at all levels. And, the word balance kind of has been overused. So I'm moving more towards saying alignment. So alignment at all levels, from the physical to the financial. And I talk a lot about self-care, but I don't mean self-care like getting pedicures and maybe, like going out with your body, taking care of your physical needs, your emotional needs, your energetic needs, and your financial needs. Because if you cannot care for that root chakra, those root chakra needs, like paying your bills, saving for retirement, having enough to take vacations, not being stressed out if you need to take a day off. That's really essential. And I think when, especially this community that I serve, so coaches, psychotherapists, healers, helpers, massage therapists, even, some intuitives and service providers, it can be very challenging because many of us came to this work because we have a story that, this modality saved us, or this aspect of our story brought us closer to who we were. And there can be a challenge to receive financial compensation for something that you feel is your dharma, like the reason that you were put here on this earth. And so I love supporting women in that shift to seeing that that money is just energy. And if we can't balance our energy at all levels, we won't be here to serve. So, that's a huge shift. And also talking about a profit-centric business rather than just a sustainable business or, a successful business or a six-figure business. I mean, because you and I both know six figures too, So
yeah. Let's tack on the expenses to that and see if we're still at six figures. Yeah.
Right. So, and it's like, it's not about that. It's not about how much money you spend. It's about, at the end of the day, are you meeting your financial needs? Are you saving for retirement? Can you send your kids to the school that they want to go to? Can you go on vacations? Can you take days off? All of these things. Is your business sustainable in the sense that from month to month, there's consistent profit? And so I love that. And I'm equal parts kind of practical and magical when it comes to coaching, and very focused on strategy, although I think mindset is essential. But strategy is often the missing piece. So I love to provide that.
And so tell us a little bit about your journey up the chakras and your business evolution that you touched on before we hit record, because I think that's really exciting. And I think people think that they have to be stuck in, the grind mode to like prove something or whatever, to make their financial needs met. But you touched on something that was like, I'm gonna like live this life in my business for myself, not for anybody else. And that's moving up the chakras. When you can provide on that root chakra level, you can then climb up to make a bigger impact.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So, so my entrepreneurial journey, I mean, my life journey overall has been, not linear. and that's okay with me, actually, because, one of my female business mentors said something that has stuck with me. And she said, I walk through the open doors, and that's been a huge, it stayed with me. And so I have training as, my undergrad is religions, and my graduate program, I thought that I wanted to be a neuroscientist researcher, and then realized that I had an ethical dilemma with killing the mice. So actually that wasn't going to work for me. So I shifted and moved from research to clinical research to behavior change education in the nutrition and food science arts. And I realized like that was a great niche for me, because I had already had a yoga and meditation practice, and I was doing my yoga therapy training at the same time. And I got really impassioned about supporting people in bringing the tools of a conscious lifestyle to themselves for more balance, for behavior change, for growth and transformation. And, so fast forward, I got out of graduate school. I started looking for work as a coach. Nobody knew what a coach was 10 years ago. They were like, you do what? You coach football? I mean, you coach what? Like, they kept asking me what sport I coached. And I'm like, not exactly the same thing, but granted, this was a small town in Florida, so maybe it was different elsewhere. But so I had to create my own opportunities, and I looked around at what I wanted to create, and I really wanted to create a haven for conscious lifestyle, for awareness, and to share these healing tools. So I started a yoga studio and an eco boutique, and I offered yoga therapy, health coaching, obviously open classes, and on a piece, which was consider the personality of the entrepreneur running the business. and I love people. I'll just say that. I love people, but being around people all the time in a highly extroverted business drained me very quickly. And although I created a beautiful business that was highly successful and at all levels of the word, it was profitable, we expanded, we ran out of space like a year into it. It was the height of the recession. I was, literally, and I'm not joking, I was like, money was coming in hand over fist and I was allocating it well. It was great. I was doing teacher training. But I had a huge shift when I got pregnant and realized this is not the life I want as a new mommy. I want to be home for dinner. I taught classes up until 3 days I delivered, a full teaching load, 12 classes a week, teaching on the weekends. I breastfed my baby between classes. I was the everything person. And I just decided I can't do this anymore. So I pivoted and I focused on building my online coaching practice. I really became a student of advanced online marketing techniques. I learned the ins and outs of the behind the scenes of running an online business. And I began building out my coaching practice online and traveling around the nation providing yoga therapy training. And that was great for a while, and it worked really well. And again, I was successful and profitable and at all levels. And again, I had this moment where I took a step back and I'm like, okay, this is great, but I've made sort of the same, I'm not going to call it mistake, but I've gone this way because I wanted to provide something to the students that I had, but I didn't really look at like, what does Kellie want? What is really true for Kellie? And
oh my gosh, I want to just pause you there for 1 second, because this is people get to this point and they think business is not for me. Online entrepreneurship is not for me. I keep getting this wrong. I keep getting to this point where, but you're hitting on the nerve of the problem, is that you keep looking at what they want instead of what your ultimate truth.
Yes.
Or
and that
you're
was
chasing the money and you're going in that direction, or you're chasing outwards instead of really looking inwards, because it's scary to do that.
It is scary. And, to be fair, like I needed to earn money. Like I needed to provide for my family. And so I did look at what is the most profitable thing that I can do while staying at home with my child and, being the kind of mom that I want to be. And what that looked like was that I had to sacrifice by traveling about 30 to 40% of the time. But, the other percentage of the time I was building my online business, coaching from my home. I began offering business coaching to, really only because people kept looking at me like, how the heck are you doing this? You've built like these 2 6-figure businesses within a year. Like, how are you doing this? And I was like, well, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. I was like, okay, I'll share with you, like, this is what I'm doing. And then I pivoted again in a sense and realized there's this huge need in the industry that I was serving. So yoga teachers, healers, massage therapists that I knew about. I had lived through it. And it's this shift from what I call kind of the community service phase in business, where I'm here to show up and serve, to the, oh my gosh, I'm an entrepreneur and I have to provide for myself in business, right? Like thinking like a CEO. And that really is a sweet spot for me. And so that's what I've been doing for the last, I've been providing business coaching to this community for the last 5 years. And this past year, I went through another big life shift, and I took a hard look at myself, and I was like, looked at what I really felt like was the next step for me. And what that looked like was writing and speaking. And And ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to write books and fiction. So I was like, all right, let me ease into this. I'm not just immediately going to be like the next J.K. Rowling, but hey, we can get there. So I looked at, what would it take for me to actually write a book and synthesize some of the principles that I've been sharing with my clients about business and entrepreneurship as a spiritual path, which I truly believe it can be. And
oh my God.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, welcome.
Yes.
Because
right?
this is it. It will bring out everything you've tried to run from. It will bring it out.
There's so many levels of growth and transformation available to us as entrepreneurs. And it's really like, how quickly do you want to get there? How quickly do you want to push through your own upper limits? And so the book is done, and it's going into second.
Can we ask what the title is?
Well, the working title is The Purpose and Prosperity Project, and I'm submitting it.
Goosebumps.
Additional publishing, so we'll see. I just thought I'll put this book out, I'll self-publish, and then I found an editor, and she was like, you've got to meet my agent friend. And then I got an agent, and she's like, we've got to get this to, the LOHAS industry is ready for this. Like, I can think of 5 publishers that want this right now. So,
oh my God. I hope you guys are feeling the energy of this. And what Kellie said earlier was walk through all the open doors.
Yeah.
So the step was take a real look at what you want.
Yeah.
At your truth, at what's going to make you happy and fuel you.
Yeah.
And that can happen every 6 months or every 3 months.
Yeah.
The evolution, it can be that fast. If you're ready, you can go light speed.
Absolutely. And I'll just add to that, Agnes, too, because I think one of the things that held me back. So I've been a full-time entrepreneur since 2007, when I started my yoga therapy practice right out of graduate school.
That's 8 years, guys.
Yeah. 9 almost
9
10.
years.
9 almost 10. Yep. Right.
Okay, so just have some perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole overnight success thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Chance favors the prepared. So
no one who has been on this show who has achieved success financially and otherwise has been in business less than that time.
Yeah. And it's, there are so many times where I wanted to, throw my laptop at the wall and just say, forget this struggle. I'm just going to go get a paycheck somewhere.
Yeah.
But something kept pushing me. And so I'll just say also that I probably could have gotten here faster, but there was a lot of shame that I had around the evolution. Like, but wait, I can't close this business. It's successful. It's killing me, and it's destroying my family. It's destroying my relationships. It's destroying my relationship to myself and my own self-care. And I'm miserable, but I can't close it. I would be a failure, And so I stuck through, and I pushed through because determination. And then when I did pivot, and it was like amazing, I just can't tell you the financial success and the rapid growth of my pivot was just, I couldn't believe I waited that long. And then the same thing happened with my yoga business, my yoga therapy business. I was traveling so much, and I got so burnt out, and I just knew I was ready to pivot. But I was like, I felt this duty, like I had defined myself in this way: yoga therapist, teacher trainer, educator.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And so
I know this is so speaking to everyone out there, because you spend such a long time trying to figure out what you are, that when you finally get it, you're like, oh my God, I don't want to let this go.
Yeah. So I'll just say, decide faster. And I think that it's great to deliberate, and deliberation is one of my strong suits. And I know that because I work with a lot of female entrepreneurs, that this can be a challenge. Like I put so much time and energy. Can I do this? Looking at all sides of the problem, but business requires decisions. Take action. And that is so
on that one, guys.
hard for me.
Business requires decisions.
You gotta make the decision.
And those of us who are healers in our nature struggle with that.
Yes. And then, it's like what if I fail? What if you fail? You're going to learn so much. And you know what? You're never going to make that mistake again, you're going to walk away with a tremendous amount of wisdom. I mean, you know, most successful entrepreneurs have 9 failures and the 10th one stuck.
Totally. They didn't give up. They didn't go back to the paycheck.
It's like fail 9 times, get up 10, keep going. It's all part of your story. You can synthesize it so much. And, you know,
but like have a guide, you know, if you're really like not moving, like get a guide like Kellie, get a guide, you know, get someone who's been there, who's seen your path and who can illuminate to you the shortcut.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be as hard as you're making it.
I know. And that's the other thing. So if I really sort of identify with this sort of archetype of the pioneer, you know, just like blazing my own trail out there with my machete. And I sometimes,
what's your sign? I'm curious.
I'm a Scorpio sun sign, but I have like 5 Scorpios, right?
Oh,
like,
you are like the
I'm like
super torpedo Scorpio.
Super duper, like, watch out world, here I come.
Oh,
you know?
I'm a Scorpio too. That's
are you?
funny.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she's so fiery. What's going on there?
Yeah, that's it. That's it, baby.
And that's also like a really nice aspect when you're really aligned with your power, like your passion starts to overflow. And like healers are often like, I'm the wallflower. No, I don't want to take the credit, but like you also can't then make the level of impact you want to make.
No, people are attracted to charisma, to power, to confidence, to certainty. And I tell the women I work with, you don't have to feel that about yourself necessarily, but definitely feel that about your life's work. And they do, you know, it's like they get so passionate about the healing that can come, or the results they provide, or how much they are on fire for their clients and their passion. And it's not a far cry to take that passion and just apply it to the work. You don't have to feel that way inside. And I'll draw from Amy Cuddy's, a sort of relatively famous psychologist in her work. I'm sure you've heard of it, the superwoman pose, right? Mm-hmm. And the levels of cortisol that are related to men and women and posture. And she says, you know, fake it till you feel it. And I can't tell you how many times I have felt like a fraud in my business, and how many times I was like, I should not be here. I mean, even here and now, you know, I'm like, what do I know? This is just, you know, my interesting, you know, journey with a lot of twists and turns. But you've got to own your story. And one thing that has been really impactful for me and has helped me push through imposter complex and feeling like I'm a fraud is I just got to show up for the people who need me. That's all. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to do. I just show up for the people who need me. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I might, you know, piss you off, or if you don't want someone to lovingly spank your tush and say, let's go, honey, I'm not your girl. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's totally fine. So yeah.
Beautiful. I love that. So let's move into, asking you, because I think we've kind of busted through the big breakthrough. There's no such thing, like get past that and celebrate every win and every failure, because it's getting you towards what you want. What kind of daily practice? I'm curious about your daily practice, because you seem fairly like both magical and pragmatic, like you said. So do you stick to something? Is it free flow? What's your practice like?
Yeah. So meditation is my non-negotiable, and it's my go-to. So I've been a meditator for 17 years. That's looked very different at various points. I've done Vipassana, I've done heart opening, I've done, you know, Tibetan practices, a lot of yoga practices, meditation retreats, silent and with mantra, japa, all of that. But meditation is really my go-to, and it's sort of my secret weapon. So that's my thing. I meditate every morning, every evening, and generally 1 to 2 times throughout the day. I'll take a restorative posture, or I'll sit in a 20-minute practice just to calm my mind. I do a lot of talking in my business, so it's good to be silent. I do my yoga, and it's funny, the more I know about yoga, again, I started these two practices simultaneously. So for over half my life, it's been a daily discipline. And it looks a lot different than it used to. I used to have a really fiery practice, lots of handstands, inversions, lots of sweat. And the more I developed into the woman I am now, and got really honest about what I needed, the more I realized I need fewer poses, and I do, an equal parts of sort of strength based and relaxing. And then I have run over the course of my life many times, and have sort of a love-hate relationship with it, but I'm really enjoying running these days again. So that's been something that I've started about a year ago and consistently do every day. And that's usually my end of the day thing, clear my head. My daughter will ride her bike and I'll run, or I'll get on the treadmill while she's doing her art projects and things. And it's a good sort of eraser from sitting behind a computer screen all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really good. Okay. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the first entrepreneur that I've talked to that has a practice. So that's cool.
And I'll say also journaling is something that I frequently do. And it's not a daily thing as much as I just know sometimes that I need to process things in that way. And I try and give myself the time and space to do that. And it's been an excellent practice as an entrepreneur, because when you go through those times where you're sort of questioning your path, I'll get out some of my old journals and flip through and say, oh yeah, like I've been here before and I see that.
Yeah, really good to notice that. And there's something really to be said for having non-negotiables in your life. Like I often hear that from like the famous entrepreneurs, like the people who, the Zuckerbergs, and like people who just do certain things every day, the Tony Robbins, they have their hour of power. It's just non-negotiable. It makes them feel good.
Yeah.
And I believe in the power of that. I do.
I do too.
What has your relationship with money been on this journey?
Oh, now that could be an entire book.
Yes.
That's the fourth book.
Yes. Fourth in the series.
Yeah. There's a whole section in Purpose and Prosperity Project about that. So money, well, yeah, it's been tough. So I mentioned I came from a long line of entrepreneurs. One of those businesses my family had, we lost to a partner and went completely bankrupt. That business was linked to our home. We lost absolutely everything. We left with the clothes on our back. The man even tried to go after us for my mother's wedding ring. I mean, it was like horrible, right? And I was really young. I was 10 years old when this happened. So
talk about an imprint to get over.
That money story was with me for a long time. That if you do, and these were faith-based. My family, I was raised Christian. So these were faith-based enterprises. So, my money story, my limiting belief was, if you do, God's work or spirit work, or you do this work that you're passionate about, then, then you're going to have to be okay with not having money. And I embraced this. I had jobs. My first job was 11. I was a babysitter. I cleaned houses. I had 2 jobs in college. I was always entrepreneurial. But I always knew that I could get by with very little. And I didn't challenge that because I had some conceptions about wealthy people. Like, they lie and they're dishonest and they're going to steal from you and they're not good people. And I had to deal with that when I, came up in my first business and, this money was coming in. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, I'm making money doing this, like this is, I had to deal with it. And it was a process of understanding that money is a reflection that you're doing the right work in the world, that you're helping the people that you can serve. You're serving them in a way that is valuable and that is going to enrich their life. And, the tough one for me, the really tough one is the, well, I have enough. And so do I really need more? right? And so that's the really insidious one that I think a lot of women, specifically in this industry, come up against. Where, well, I'm doing okay. And, my husband or my partner makes money, so I don't need to make any more money, because that would just be greedy, right?
Yeah.
I would just be greedy because my needs are met, right? And it's looking at, what could you do with that energy? Like, okay, great. You don't need more money. Fabulous. Make more money and set up a charity fund. Start a nonprofit. Donate to Kiva. Set up a microloan system for something. Give back to your community. If you really don't need the money, fine. But that doesn't mean that you can't earn more and do good work with the money you earn.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point, because our subconscious can really keep us there. Like, I'm not going to push. I'm not going to go forward because I have enough. And it's kind of selfish. Well, you have enough, but what about everybody else that you could help by earning more?
Right. Yeah. It's like, I've never been one of those people that has, and that I'm going to call myself out here, that has a lot of boundaries between work and life. Like, what you see is what you get. Like, if I want my life and my business to be a complete, reflection of one another. Now, having said that, I have gotten a lot better about being a workaholic, but I have a lot of energy for my work, and I have a lot of enthusiasm, and I don't see any need to stop myself from continuing to earn more in my business because my physical needs are met, my financial needs are met. Great, I'm earning more money, fabulous. I'm going to put that in a savings account or something. I'm going to teach my daughter about business and help her start.
Nobody has enough money.
It's like
enough money for every possible thing. I'm sorry.
Right. No, right. I'm going to travel more. That's an
excuse.
Yeah,
Come on, we're not buying it.
It's an excuse, it's an excuse to stay small. And again, in this industry, what I've found is there's a difficulty with receiving rejection. So women frequently don't put themselves out there because they think, well, I'm not good enough, or what if they say no? What if they say no? No is not
say no. You're going to get 20 no's before you get
20 no's before you get a yes. Keep going. Every no is closer to a yes. And then, the other thing is, women often don't follow up with clients. They might receive a no, but why did you receive a no? Because that person needed to think about it, or they were having a rough week, or they were going through something in their life or relationship. Follow up and follow up again. And you know what? Follow up again, just to check on them with love and attention and care. And follow up again.
Smell out when it's like, I'm desperate, I'm following up. People can smell out, I'm checking in on you. How are you? I care about you. What's going on in your business? You found another coach? Great. Super. Yeah. Let's stay in touch. Whatever the case might be, it's about relationships, right?
It is.
And so the parallel also between money is creativity. Like, you don't want to earn more money because you don't want to explore your level of creativity. Maybe you're an artist underneath. Maybe you're an author underneath. Maybe you're lots of things underneath that you're scared to look at.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll tell you, my lifelong dreams since I was a little girl, 2 of them, 1, to write fiction books, and 2, to sing and play the guitar. And, I'm making both of those things happen. I'm starting to rehearse. I might be in a band, in a few months, singing my heart out.
That's so cool. That's what this work is all about.
There's no way that I could have done that if I hadn't balanced the energy at all levels. If I hadn't taken the time to say, I'm going to get my house in order. Literally, I'm going to have my daughter almost full time. I want to be with her. I want to be off of work and stepping away from my computer at 3:00 so we can blow bubbles and make sidewalk chalk and have adventures and hike in the woods. That's what money is. It's a ticket to your values. That's all. And that's what's important.
Goosebumps on that one. It's a ticket to your values. I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
It's been very, very juicy. And if there's one piece of advice of those people who have not seen the fruit of their labor yet, what do you have to say to them?
It's going to sound self-serving and it's not, because I will be the first one to recommend you to another coach if I'm not a good fit or whatever, but get support. again, I was a pioneer hacking through the forest thinking I had to do it all myself. And it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength to say, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where to go next. But other people do. And
the truth is, you could be a sliver away.
A sliver, you could be.
Someone just needs to point you
at the end of your rope, or, deep in the forest, and you can't go any longer. And what do you know? Like less than 10 paces ahead is your big breakthrough, but you can't go anymore by yourself. And it's just, there's no way I would have gotten to this point if I hadn't sought out appropriate support. And, most coaches worth their salt will tell you at the beginning, I'm a mindset coach or I'm a strategy coach. If you're struggling, look for a strategy coach, look for someone that's going to say, let's get your house in order here, and talk to them and ask them questions. And if they're not going to answer your questions, if they just want to sell you hard, hang up and find another one,
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Where can everyone find you?
Yeah. So my home on the interwebs is KellieAdkins.com. That's Kellie with an I-E and Adkins with a D. And I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm sure, Agnes will share the links here for you. I'm really approachable. I love connecting with other female entrepreneurs, even if you just need a piece of advice or you want some, a quick tip, just reach out. That's what I'm here for.
Awesome. Get on a soul chat with Kellie. It'll be life-changing.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I am so excited for everything that you're birthing into this planet for us. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your wisdom on Manifestation TV.
My pleasure. Thank you, Agnes. Thanks.